Sentire Media.
Hello, you. You're listening to A History of Italy. Special announcement episode.
E si scopre tutto il blu e non posso più accucciarmi e così ritorno su. Lascio i colli nelle valli tra due salici piangenti. Io ritrovo la speranza di un amore che ormai fu.
Okay, I can actually hear you now. Mike, what is all this announcement business? You're always announcing things all the time, and there's never anything really interesting that you're actually announcing. That's probably true, but anyway, hear me out. Although the regular episodes covering the chronological history of the Italian peninsula from the fall of the Western Roman Empire to the current day have only reached about episode 135, the recording you are listening to, considering all the announcements and the special interview episodes and the crossover episodes and so on and so forth, is upload number 200. That's right, I have uploaded onto the airwaves, into the ether, onto the net, that is, 200 instances of me babbling away at you. This is cause to celebrate. Not only are we celebrating the 200th episode, but as I record, I have just had my 45th birthday on the 2nd of April. 2nd of April. 2 for 200 episodes and for 2022. Now, I didn't feel particularly sad or happy at the number 45, but it's interesting to see how it is perceived externally. For example, my football team and I recently did a little tournament to raise funds for the Ukrainian refugees. A local newspaper decided to do an article about it, and they interviewed me. I told them that our team was a dozen or so 40-plus-year-old female and male players. And the team name was Voltaren, which is a popular rubbing cream in Italy for aches and pains. When the article came out, the journalist had labelled us as middle-aged. Now, I said 40-plus. I never said middle-aged, but I suppose that mathematically speaking, if you reckon you could get to about 90 nowadays, 45 could be somewhere in the middle. However, in spirit, I do not feel middle-aged, although sometimes my body does remind me of it. Anyway, in general, I like to pay attention to numbers. You all know that I love history, but I also have an interest in numbers, although maths was always a nightmare, and indeed until relatively recently, I still actually had nightmares about having to do a math test that I was totally unprepared for. Anyway, first interesting fact regarding numbers. There is now the same distance in time between the present and my year of birth than between my year of birth and the first solo flight by a woman across the Atlantic by Amelia Earhart in 1932. A year in which the world was reeling from the economic crash of 1929 and in which Nazism had not quite yet come to power. Other interesting things, my birthday is the 2nd of April. In Europe, that is 0204 or 0402 if you're in the United States. My wife's birthday is the 4th of February, so 0402. So the exact opposite of my dates. My daughter was born on the 7th of the 8th of the 9th, that's the 7th of August 2009, and my son was born on the 3rd of the 12th of the 4th year, so that's the 3rd of December 2004, 3 times 4 is 12. Also, the 3rd of the 12th is the exact opposite of my very, very good friend Stefano, who was born on the 12th of March. Why should we care about Stefano, you may be asking? A legitimate question, if not for the fact that he has something to do with one of the ways in which I'm celebrating this moment, and that is with a new logo. Indeed, if you have a look at Facebook, Twitter, the website, and so on, by the time you listen to this, the new logo should have appeared everywhere. And so I have to thank Stefano Giacomucci for that lovely new logo, and if you are interested in hiring his services, please do get in touch. Something else you may have noticed is that the podcast has started to host dynamic ad insertion. That basically means regular adverts at the beginning and at the end of the podcast. This is because I have shifted to a new hosting platform, Spreaker, one of the many hosting platforms for podcasters, but in particular one which was an Italian startup. I hope you don't mind too much. I was faced with one of those choices, which was either try and look for more work, which meant less podcasting, or try and get a little bit more out of the podcasting itself. In any case, if you would like to hear ad-free episodes, you can join Patreon today for as little as $1 a month and listen ad-free to the same episodes. If you then need help setting up the Patreon feed in your podcast player, and of course this also goes for existing Patreon supporters, please get in touch and I will be happy to help you with the technical aspects. Well, that is enough announcing. So happy 200th upload to everyone, happy birthday to me, and enjoy the new logo, and I hope you're not too bothered by the ad insertion of the new platform. As always, you can get in touch, hello@ahistoryofitaly.com, or you can look us up on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and on Instagram, searching for A History of Italy. Next week, we'll be back to regular episodes. We have to bring those Savoy up to the 15th century, and then we're going to take a little look over in Trentino, and why not go and visit the Republic of San Marino before starting the whole tour down in Sicily, Sardinia, Naples, and so on and so forth. So until next time, thanks very much for listening, grazie per l'ascolto, and arrivederci.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.